Well, we were talking off air, kind of joking, but you were talking about meditation and ice cream. And
two favorite things. Yeah.
Well, they're kind of, in a way, they're kind of the same thing because they give you a focus. Mm-hmm. And how is that, especially the ice cream, how has that affected your playing?
I mean, everything starts with the ice cream. No, ice cream is just, it's cream, sugar, and it's cold and ice. And those three together it's very euphoric.
But the meditation, how has that helped?
Yeah, meditation is great. I mean, the last 12 plus years, it's been a daily routine it's several hours a day usually. And I don't know, there's just a nice way for me to practice non-attachment to all the emotions that come and go, non-duality, and also acceptance of duality. Get more in touch with kind of not so much the aspiration for enlightenment as it's an aspiration to be okay and accepting the way things are and not try to fix anything. Which is difficult. I tend to want to, and I can live in the future as a creative. My brain wants to create not only positive things, but it creates negative things too, like possibilities of outcomes that are not going to happen. So I have to stay really in the moment as much as possible. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. Well,
because I noticed with you, like you have your mala beads on, mm-hmm. and I noticed like that you've got more tattoos. There's a lot mm-hmm. of symbolism going on. Yep. So it's just, it seems like whatever's in you is like you're bringing it out now.
Yeah, I'm trying to apply it to this one, we have one life. Even if we come back many times in reincarnation, I will only be this guy one time. So then the point is kind of to make sure that, I have a purpose. I serve people. I do something for the community and try to fit in.
That's really awesome when your purpose is to make it groovier.
It is. I mean, it's really a deeper groove is pretty much it. We're all trying to be George Porter.
Right. Our hearts are I always say our heart's a vibration, when it stops, you die, and your job is to make it as funky as possible.
It's as funky as possible.
So
death itself needs to be huge, like a really special moment.
Yeah. In fact, a quick sidebar, I went to a thing called a death cafe where we all sat around and talked about that to prepare for it.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
So, and it was just everyone had their own stories, and everyone, the only thing was you couldn't interrupt. You just had to listen.
Yeah, it sounds like AA.
But you would be surprised at what perspectives people brought and how much I learned from it. So yeah, I agree with you.
It's powerful. It's the one thing that we only have. That's the one ticket we all have. It won't change. Nobody will get away from, the birth, and then as soon as you're born, I'm going to die, and it may be a surprise. It may be long. It may be painful. It may be painless. That's the one thing you don't know, but it's going to happen. So I think Dalai Lama talks about that a lot too. You have to meditate for a long time and over on your actual death and the acceptance of it, because then what follows, and which I feel, if I embrace it and I go, can't wait to see how it's going to happen. I can't wait to see what happens after. I hope I'm content, all those thoughts and feelings and meditating around the death itself. And afterwards, there's such a sense of serenity. Not sense of, you are serene. You feel totally okay. And your hearing gets sharper, your vision, everything starts to just come into focus a bit. It's pretty cool.
It's kind of like a shimmer.
A shimmer, that's it. And when you're in the park, you find yourself seeing for maybe a mile through the trees.
Oh, I love it. That's why I see you at the park a lot, and I don't want to talk to you because I see you're doing your thing, and I was like, I'm doing my thing, you're doing your thing, and the trees know it.
And the trees know our thing.
Yes.
I love it.
So why don't we play a song?
Yeah, this one's called Jacksonville to Wichita. It's from the Orpheus and the Mermaid. You usually have a harp here. Does anybody have a G harp they can play for me?
I wish.
All right, just singing this time.
This is Anders Osborne live on WWOZ FM New Orleans.
From Jacksonville to Wichita, hitched a ride with an actress from L.A. She drove and talked through a cloudy night, swore to me she would make it big one day. I didn't sleep a single wink, but we got to Austin in a blink as the sun was setting gently on the Capitol. You know, her name was Mary Angeli. She filled my heart with light and mystery. I spend the day on Guadalupe, watching people having somewhere they should be. All business suits and hippie kids, but none of them seem to be all that free. Yeah, I found a dog in a fifth of gin, an empty bar that would let us in, with a jukebox that only played Townsman sang. I stayed a while and sang along, but I know when it's time to move on. Moving on, moving on. Yeah, learn to read the room and move along. Moving on, moving on. It's not up to me to fix everything that's wrong. Yeah, I'm moving on. Yeah, I drifted for a year or two. I learned to be real happy with what I got. I left Telluride and Santa Fe for a dusty lot in sleepy paradise. I worked the mines from dusk till dawn, fell asleep in the Apache sun, and dreamt about a rainy New Orleans. Loneliness and desert life was the closest thing I've known to God's true light. Well, one day I just dropped it all. I saw no point in being all this blessed. With $50 in Grandpa's suit, I got on a bus to the valley of San Ynez. I lied my way to a job or two, learned to talk like the rich folks do, till the mighty Mississippi River called me home. Now I'm gliding through the Everglades, trying to hitch a ride back to Key West. Yeah. Woo! Moving on, moving on. Yeah, learn to read the room and move along. Moving on, moving on. It's not up to me to fix everything that's wrong. Yeah, I'm moving on.
All right, and Mr. Anders Osborne live here in the WWOZ studio. Thank you so much for playing some music for everybody.
You got it. Well, I'm so glad you could have me over finally after all these years.
Agreed. So now the gig, Tipitina's with Shannon, is that going to be your full band?
Yeah, that's a rock show. Not to read the set list, but let me look at it. Tips 4/28/22. Holy shit! That's how good it's going to be. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a rocker, a couple of heartwarming reggae numbers, but the rest is pretty tough. Shannon's going to sit in, and her band starts at 9, I believe.
So who do you have in your rock band right now?
I have on drums is Chad Cromwell, who's been in the band almost 4 or 5 years. After Brady Blade left, Chad came in. He used to be with Neil Young for probably 15 years, Mark Knopfler, Joe Walsh, and he's a session guy that I met in Nashville 25 years ago. And on bass, sitting in for Steve Mackey, who usually plays with me now, Another guy is Ron Johnson, who plays with Samantha Fish.
Okay.
And used to play with me for a couple of years.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, Ron. So he knows the material real well. He's going to sub for Mackie. And on guitar is Jonathan Sloan from Washington, D.C. Amazing young kid, just plays his ass off.
Right on.
Really good player.
So that's going to be the start of the Anders, was it six or seven shows that you got coming up? Yeah. So you're going to be doing a lot of meditating. I think you're going to get a big half gallon of ice cream.
Every night at 8:15.
Right on.
Okay. So thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, and if people want to find out more about you online, where can they go?
AndersOsborne.com or the Facebook page or the Instagram, and they're all just my name. So, yeah, Anders Osborne.
And also, you do some sneaky stuff on the side as a producer.
Yeah.
So, I think you just produced Dave Jordan's new album.
Oh, I love that record. He did so good. He wrote great stuff he wrote. And Chad was on that, and George Porter's playing bass. It was an amazing record.
There's albums that you've done. Johnny Sansone's The Lord Is Waiting, The Devil Is Too, Dave Jordan's These Old Boots. I don't know how you do it, but you get this sound. It sounds like the trees at night. Like, oh my
goodness, for real?
I don't know how you do it, because when Dave was like, "Oh, Anders is doing it," I immediately went back to These Old Boots, because like the pictures and the ambiance and atmosphere you create. I don't know how you do it, but it's amazing.
It starts with a song, but thanks for telling me that. I never feel confident producing until I'm actually in the process of it. Then it's just a flow. But I don't know. I just try to listen to the songs and then figure out the personnel. Who are we going to invite? Studio, which time of the year, location, desert, swamp. Like, you try to figure out all the details of the record. And then you make sure that the artists themselves, that they know that they're here to make a masterpiece, not a decent record. That they have to get in the mindset of, I'm making a masterpiece, one for the ages. And so they kind of drive the whole thing by being that confident. And then I try to guide a little bit where we go from there.
So you just steer a little bit.
Yeah, but it's about pepping, making like coaching, making sure they feel, oh, I'm a bad boy. Or girl.
Well, all I know is I can feel it. And when I would look at these records, I'd be like, oh, Anders produced this. Anders produced this. Oh, here's the line. Here's that connection.
So sweet. Thank you.
So, I just had to throw that out there.
No one's ever said it. Thank
you. But now you'll hear Anders is the player. All this coming week, next week, here, starting at Tipitina's Thursday, April 28th. Doors are at 8, shows at 9.
Beautiful. Thanks. I appreciate it, Murph.
All right, Anders. I hope you have a great day. And peanut butter and chocolate are my favorite flavors for ice cream.
For me, it's pistachio, and I used to get it straight from Brocados. They scoop it up, the gelato. But I gotta say, Cherry Garcia is pretty good.
Oh man, it's awesome. Yeah. We'll have to go get some ice cream one day.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, after the walk in the park, we go get some ice cream.
Heard that. All right, Anders. Take care, man.
Bye.
All right, we're gonna get back to the music right now with some Daiquiri Queens.